All right, here we go. We back at it. KnicksatniteTv, Season 2, Episode 2. Our new intro, man. We got a new intro for you guys. For Episode 1, we had a new logo, which we still have. And now, Episode 2, we got a new intro. We're going to get into that. I did a collab with my man, Ellis and Ryan G over at the Knick Show. Check this out. After we drop the beat, guys, as you can see behind me, we got Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., and Kevin Knox. Those are the three people that we talked about over at the Knick Show. So go ahead and check that out. Now drop that beat. Let's go.
That's gotta be the magician.
I think we see Willis coming out. There he comes right now. 6'10" from Grambling. The captain of the Knicks, the most valuable player of the NBA.
Down the lane, running jumper off the front rim and in.
And the New York Knicks have become the second number 8 team in NBA history to knock off a number 1.
Frankie smokes. That doesn't exist. That guy doesn't exist. What you are seeing doesn't exist. He comes in and he just locks it down, and the team plays better, and he sits in the corner and just drills threes. What? No, he doesn't. He hates being in the corner. Ask him. He can't stand it. Why does he stand with his hand on the hip when he's in the corner? Because he doesn't want to be there. Why? Both on his hand. Come on, guys. I love Knick fans. You guys take somebody who's like, like whatever he is, and you turn him into something, some fictional superhero.
What's going on? This is Ellis from Knick Show here, giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time, and it's time to give you that Frank talk. I know Alan Hahn was cooking right there, but I'm gonna tell you something, Alan Hahn. Frank Ntilikina, 93rd percentile corner threes. So he kind of does sit in the corner and hit threes. Like, I know he was joking, but that's neither here nor there. I got some guests here for you today. Give you that Knicks talk. First and foremost, it's my guy, Mr. Faithful, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G is in the building.
Damn right he's in the building. And also joining us from KnicksatniteTv, my guy, D-Trav. What's going on, man?
What's up, yo? Thanks for having me, man. Let's get it going. Let's get this Knicks talk.
Let's get it going. Now, let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you how this came about. So, shout out to CP, Knicks Fan TV. Me and CP, we did an interview with Alan Hahn. Definitely check that out on the Knick Time Show. YouTube.com/KnickTimeShow, right? We did that interview with Alan Hahn, and D-Trav, he came and he hit me up in the DM. He's like, hey man, I got some things I want to get off my chest. Something that Alan said, it struck me in my heart. He was speaking some facts about Frank, and I want to come on and talk about it. So here he is. Now, D-Trav, let us know. What did Alan say that struck a chord with you, that you felt so passionate about, that you just had to come on a show?
Well, first off, good job on the interview you did with Alan Hahn and UNCP. But what he was saying, I just was waiting a long time for somebody to come out and say this on the show or in public, because I totally agree with what he said. I feel as though the Frank hive, as he was saying, is maybe, I don't want to say delusional. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I think they see too much of a high ceiling for Frank. You know, I feel personally that Frank has showed us, he hasn't shown us anything as besides, you know, spots here and there that he could be a competent basketball player. Yes, he's a good defender. I wouldn't say elite yet because he hasn't had enough minutes in the NBA for you to call him an elite defender. He's a capable defender. He likes playing defense, but I wouldn't say he's an elite defender. But I would just say that, you know, Frank came from France. His first year, he came in the NBA. I know it was an adjustment period, but when he was in France, he averaged 4 points a game. I mean, why did we think that he was going to come over here and be such a dominant factor in the NBA when his history has not said that? I know he's still young. He still has potential development to do, but he didn't even start on his own team. A kid by the name of Irv Walker that is well known in New York City on the basketball circuits was playing on his team, and he was actually the starting point guard. Now, Irv Walker, don't get me wrong, he's a great basketball player, but he's not NBA ready. My point is, if Irv Walker cannot make it to the NBA, and he started over Frank Ntilikina, and then Frank only averaged 4 points, why do we think Frank Ntilikina is going to come over here and be the starting point guard for the New York Knicks? I'm just a little confused on that theory there. But and if you also think about the regime that drafted Frank was Phil Jackson. And if you know Phil Jackson, he was stuck on running the triangle offense. And what he saw in Frank was Frank's potential to be a good defender and be in the mode of like Ron Harper. You know, Ron Harper used to be the point guard when you had Jordan and Scottie Pippen with the triangle offense. And he wasn't really a natural point guard. But all he had to do was bring up the ball, initiate the triangle offense, sit in the corner. As you say, J. Ellis, Frank is good at sitting in the corner, 93 percentile hitting threes. That's perfect for the triangle offense. But guess what? We're not running the triangle offense anymore. So also, Alahan made the point that sometimes when Frank brings up the ball, he stops his dribble, and his teammates be looking at him like, come on, coach, what is this guy doing? He's messing up the offense, you know. So I just feel like he has to get adjusted to playing different positions if he wants to potentially start. But as a point guard, I don't think he has starting potential. I think he's a system player that could possibly do good on a team like the Spurs, where it's less pressure on him. But even in the Spurs system, I don't think he will start for the Spurs. I think he may be a backup point guard. I just think his ceiling is a backup point guard, and we need to pump the brakes on the Frank Ntilikina starting point guard for the New York Knicks. Go ahead.
Ooh. Oh, there was a lot of fire to unpack in there. There was a lot of fire.
There in the room, he stole all the air, bro. Like,
word. Yeah, boy, there's a lot of fire to unpack. But I'll say this. I listened to the Alan Hahn interview, and Alan Hahn did make good points. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes Frank's dribble does stop, you know, near the logo.
True.
Which does mess up, you know, the flow of the offense. He is inconsistent. He hasn't really put together a string of games where it's like you can see like, okay, you know, I know what I'm gonna get from every night. You know, he does. And then again, to also bring up the fact about his Euro stats. Mm-hmm. The thing with Frank with me is like, if he could just develop a good jump shot and just learn that, okay, maybe I might not, you know, play the starting point. I might play point guard in spurts. But if I can just defend and then shoot the three, I feel like Frank could be at least a legit 3D guy in the NBA.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of like, okay, is he going to start as a 3D guy on the team, or is he going to come off the bench? I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. First and foremost, too, we talking about these Europe stats, right? These EuroLeague stats. Listen, young guards. We talked about this earlier. Young guards in the EuroLeague, young players in the EuroLeague. They don't usually start, man. Their job is to go in there and back up the vets. Get in the corner, get out the way, let the vets do their thing, and you wait your turn, son. It's like it's like Thanksgiving at the kiddie table. They ain't gonna let you, they're not gonna let you whoopsie do down there over there unless you some special player like Luka Doncic or whatever, right? That's just not was going to happen. He played his role there, and especially in France, where they teaching you how to play system basketball in France. You know that. So, and second of all, I got heat right on the show because I wanted Frank to start, and people are confusing a couple of things. People think, oh, Jay Ellis thinks Frank should start because he's a starting caliber point guard. No, not necessarily. If you remember, I was the one calling for Kira to be here. Why was I calling so hard for Kira to be here? Because I feel like when I'm looking at this roster, we still don't have the answer we need long term for a starting point guard. That's why I wanted Kira to be here. But now that I know we don't have him, we have Obi Toppin. Thank you, Obi. I'm like, you know what? I'm looking at our options. I'm looking at Elfrid Payton.
Right.
You know what he is. He is a point guard who passes really good to Julius Randle and nobody else, right? He plays decent defense, right? And if you're looking at his 3-point percentage year after year for 7 straight years, it has not moved. He had one semi-decent year where I thought, oh, maybe it's going to go up to, and then it goes straight back down. So I already know what we have in Elfrid Payton. When I'm looking at Frank Ntilikina, I'm seeing his free throw percentage is ticking up every year. I'm seeing the corner 3, 93rd percentile. I'm seeing he can play defense. And I'm also seeing that when RJ and him play together, RJ seems to like playing with him. Wonder why? Oh, probably why, because Frank Ntilikina actually passes him the ball.
And they both speak French.
So I'm not saying he's a starting power point guard per se. I'm not saying he's all-star Kyrie Irving, whoopsie do, break you down off the dribble. I already know he's not that. I know that he can be a combo guard. I know we have RJ Barrett here who can handle a lot of these playmaking duties like he did in Duke. And I feel like our best chance of getting a point guard here out of the young guys, anyway, not naming Emmanuel Quickly, or maybe even Austin Rivers, who can shoot the 3, is having Frank Ntilikina there, who we can develop and bring along. That's all I'm saying.
What about the point that Alejandro made about 3 different coaches saying the same thing about Frank and about him not being able to push the pace and slowing the ball down?
I agree with them, but this is it. Here it is, right? We drafted this guy knowing he's going to be a project. I knew that. We saw that the jump shot was going to be there. It could take some time, but we knew offensively he's going to be a project. And that's exactly what he is. He's talking about Frank being inconsistent. But he just turned 21. Obi Toppin is older than Frank now, and Frank has been in the league longer. So it's like, of course, what do you expect from a young guy but to be inconsistent? That's what young guys are. Unless you're special, when you get into the league, you do inconsistent stuff. So yes, he should push the ball more. Yes, he should stop these little mistakes where he's stopping at half court. But also, he's had 3 coaches in 3 different years with no consistent role year to year, and he's still young, and you're wondering why he's inconsistent. That's just what young players do. So I'm just saying, give this guy some time to grow. I don't know if it's gonna be the Knicks because of the glut at point guard once again. There's no clear path for anybody, including DSJ, who Knicks fans kind of boot off. Cause you remember that we want Frank Tranks, and not to say that we're trying to boot DSJ off the floor, but come on, we remember that, like.
Well, maybe one of the reasons why Frank cannot push the ball is because he don't want to go too hard when he pull his grind. He usually has that problem. And I just want to know. How come y'all have all this patience for Frank, but you don't keep the same energy for Kevin Knox? When Kevin Knox first came to the Knicks,
Brian.
John Calipari warned you guys it's going to take 3 to 4 years for this kid to develop, but in 3 to 4 years, he is going to be the best person that came out of that draft. We knew he was going to be a project, just like you guys said, Frank is going to be a project. I don't understand how come if there's a Frank hive, why there's not a Kevin Knox hive? Because at the end of the day, I know people like to say, well, Frank has a special skill, which is defense, and maybe he has a good form, so he could become
exactly what it is. He has a definable skill. When you look at Frank and go, what is he good at? He's good at defense. Cool.
All right.
When you look at Kevin Knox, what is he good at?
Shooting. He's a good shooter.
Does the numbers support that?
Well, Frank's numbers doesn't support that either. I'm saying
it supports it from the free throw line. It supports it from the corner three.
But I think, what Kevin Knox is, what happened was he came in as a rookie. He killed in summer league. Everybody thought, oh my God, he's dunking on everybody. He's hitting step back threes. He's doing this and that. He's going to be a superstar now. He's the savior of the Knicks. I can't wait till Kevin Knox start playing. And then once he got into the season, he didn't start doing that. Everybody just fell off the Kevin Knox train. Like, here we go again, another Knicks failure, another Knicks bust. But like I said, if you look at how they used him in Kentucky, as far as running him off screens and things like that, if the Knicks would use him more like that, get Kevin Knox some open shots, and he's also not bad at handling the ball. Kevin Knox is actually a decent ball handler. Why don't you look up the percentile of him with pick and rolls with Mitchell Robinson and how many alleys he's thrown at Mitchell Robinson, and they connect rate on that. And he also is good as a pick and roll because when Mitchell Robinson sits the pick, he could hit open threes. True. So I'm just saying, give them a chance. Give him a chance. I just think the problem was Coach Mike Miller was coaching for his job, and he was too scared to put Kevin Knox. He rather with the vets because he wanted to win games.
I think that was part of it, but I also think part of it was Kevin Knox was Kevin Knoxing. Like,
I'm just so confused. Though. You guys really get on Kevin Knox. It's got to be fair treatment. If you're gonna get on Kevin Knox, you got to get on Frank the same way.
Let me tell you, I just feel like Kevin Knox, he lost his confidence. He straight up lost his confidence. The NBA took the heart out of him. I was actually listening to Alan Hahn on another show. I can't remember what show that was. It might have been Pod Strickland. But I was listening to Alan Hahn on another show, and he was talking about NBA players were picking on Kevin Knox on the defensive end. It was like barbecue chicken. Whenever he got on the floor, everybody was targeting Kevin Knox. And because that happened, he lost his confidence, and everything else just fell apart.
Right. Well, I feel like, Kenny Payne is here, so he has a familiar face, which will make him feel more comfortable and help with his development. So I think he should take, bigger steps this year in his player development, and you're going to see a different Kevin Knox this year. Also about the defending thing, I feel Kevin Knox, yes. I mean, I play basketball too, so sometimes you could be a good defender, but you may get a little nervous, like you said, if people's pick on you. There's been times I've been on the playground. I know for a fact I'm a good defender. Maybe the offensive player don't know. They'd be like, clear it out. I got him. And I'd be looking like, what? And then he do it one play.
Hey, man, I'm 5'7". I be getting that all the time. And then when I stop them, they get mad. And they try to I'm like, that phantom foul, bro. Man, do some push-ups, man. Get out of my face.
But I definitely understand what you're saying. But if you look at his length, right, and you look at his agility as far as Kevin Knox, he has the potential to be a good. He has the potential to be a good defender. He doesn't know how to use his body, right? The first thing in being a good defender is just be a solid defender. You don't gamble. Just learn how to use your length, put your hands up on contest shots, stay in front of the ball handler, and those that once you angles, and once you learn the basics of defense, then as you go on, then you start learning the tricks of the trade and what you can do to be a lockdown defender. I think he has to learn that first to not get lost on defense. Sometimes, these guys are young, man. They just finished playing Fortnite. You got Quickly, these Kentucky guys. These guys got to get, their mind right and mature as a man and understanding that this is a job. This is what's going to pay my bills. I want to win, and I got to take this more serious. I think his father, being a former NFL player and Kenny Payne being here now, would really, really help him out. And hopefully the same thing happened with Frank, because we got the Utah assistant coach, right? He's supposed to be the point guard whisperer, right? Yeah, Johnny Bryan. Johnny Bryan. So maybe, who knows? Maybe 2 or 3 players on the Knicks take a big leap this year, and we all be happy, because as Knicks fans, we all want the players to do good and help us win.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, I get on Kevin Knox a lot, but of course I want to see Kevin Knox improve, because I'm like, if Kevin Knox improves and shows his potential, that helps the Knicks in general. I'm a Knicks fan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the only reason I really get on Knox was because, you know, that second season I didn't really see anything from him. You know, and then like the fact that like he struggles on defense, and then even offensively, it seemed like, you know, the fact that he struggles on defense, it affected his confidence offensively. Then it's like, okay, if he's not confident on either side of the floor, you know, what's the use of him? But, you know, like you said, you know, Kenny Payne is here, you know, from, you know, Kentucky.
Right. But
Speaking of trading
Go ahead.
point guards, we still haven't really talked about another elephant in the room, right? Your boy DSJ, man.
Okay, Dennis Smith Jr.
Yes, your boy DSJ. Because I know you was getting at with the Frank stuff. You were getting at, do you want DSJ to start, right?
Do I want DSJ to start? Honestly, I like DSJ, but I'm more of a fan of RJ being the next star in the NBA. So I'm for the point guard that's going to help RJ, you know, show all the skills that he possesses on the court. That's why I wasn't a big fan of Marcus Morris or a big fan of Julius Randle bringing up the ball, or Elfrid Payton passing the ball consistently to Julius Randle. So, yes, I think DSJ has the it factor as far as explosiveness and athleticism, as far as what you would want in your starting point guard, because he will put constant pressure on the opposing point guard. When you go against guys like Kyrie Irving and guys like Kemba Walker, I understand, yes, Frank is a good defender, but you also need to put pressure on those point guards by attacking them, getting them into foul trouble. I don't think Frank is the person who's going to get those point guards into foul trouble and put them on the bench. I feel the way that DSJ attacks the rim, you have no choice but to either foul him or get out the way. Like, he's very aggressive. And if the coaches on the Knicks could tap into that potential, then I know his jump shot is broken, but you know he's been working with he's been working with
We know.
Abdul Rauf.
Oh yes, you know who he's been working with, right? Before that, he was working with another guy. Who was he working with? Keith Smart. Who they shipped out, right?
And in Dallas, he was also working his jump shot, and it didn't work then either. But continue.
But yeah,
It's only been 3 seasons to be fair. There's only been 3 seasons to be fair.
He doesn't have to be knocked down 3-point shooter. At least 33%, 34% is decent enough. You know, you make it up in other areas. Like I think he also gets knocked on for his defense, which is not fair because sometimes he does get a lot of steals in games. Didn't he have a 7-steal game with the Knicks last year? He may not be a lot. Yeah, I think he had
was that Elfrid Payton? I don't remember that.
No, I think Dennis Smith Jr. had a 7-steal game also with the Knicks.
We gotta
check that out. Yeah, if it wasn't last season, I think it was probably like when he first came. But
yeah, right. I think maybe it was against the Cavaliers? I believe it was. I believe it was against the Cavaliers. He had 7 steals that game.
Well, I should celebrate that happened. But anyway,
so he may not be a lockdown defender like Frank, but he may be a passing lane defender like Allen Iverson. You know, there's different ways to play defense other than shutting your man down.
Absolutely, man.
So go ahead.
No, I get it. I get why people want him to start. He has the most potential out of any point guard.
Y'all, I want to do a recap of what we talked about on episode 1, which was who we wanted in the draft and the free agents that I was looking forward to the Knicks getting. Unfortunately, we didn't move up. I really wanted LaMelo Ball, but we wasn't able to move and get LaMelo Ball. But we still was able to get Obi Toppin, which was a top 5 prospect, in my opinion, that fell to number 8, and he fell right in our hands, and we could not have passed him up. So I'm glad we got Obi Toppin. That ties hand in hand with one of the free agents that I wanted, which was Christian Woods, who also was a power forward. He was a good shooter, and he was able to spread the floor and go to the basket and finish on the inside and block shots. So because we got Obi Toppin, there was no need for us to go after Christian Woods in free agency. Now let's go to the second pick that the Knicks picked. I wanted the Knicks to get Aaron Naismith from Vanderbilt University because he was a good shooter. He shot about 50% from the 3-point line, and he was able to spread the floor for RJ Barrett. Unfortunately, Aaron Naismith also went early in the draft than our number 25th pick that we used on Emmanuel Quickly, but he does the same thing as far as spreading the floor. He was He went to the University of Kentucky, and he was All ACC Player of the Year. And he's a good shooter also, and he brings some of the same attributes to the table as far as shooting and getting to the basket as the same as Aaron Naismith. So for the draft class of 2020, I give the Knicks A+ for the 2 players that they got. Now let's go into free agency. During free agency, the Knicks was thinking about possibly signing your boy from Toronto, Fred VanVleet. Unfortunately, the Knicks didn't get their target, but when you look at the deal that Fred VanVleet signed, which was, let's see what Fred VanVleet signed. It was a 4-year, $85 million contract. I don't think Fred VanVleet is worth 4 years and $85 million. So instead of selling Fred VanVleet, instead of signing Fred VanVleet, gotta get his name right, Fred VanVleet, man, what's wrong with me? But instead of signing him, we got Austin Rivers on a better deal. I think Austin Rivers could bring some of the similar things that Fred VanVleet could bring to the table. And we got Austin Rivers on a 3-year, $9.9 million deal. That's way of a hell of a discount, and Austin Rivers is a great player. The second player that the Knicks was looking at was Gordon Hayward. And Gordon Hayward signed for a 4-year, $120 million contract with the Charlotte Hornets. Your boy Michael Jordan is bugging out. I don't know what's up with him, but good thing we didn't want to spend that money on him. We didn't get Gordon Hayward. We decided to sign Alex Burks instead. We signed Alex Burks on a 1-year contract for $6 million. He also brings some of the similar things that Gordon Hayward brings to the table. He's a good scorer, a good 3-point shooter, and score from the inside, outside. He has good handles. He can run the point. So we did a good job on that. Now we're done with the recap as far as the Knicks offseason goes and all the players that they bought. They brought in Obi Toppin in the draft, Emmanuel Quickly, Austin Rivers. They also brought in Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel. He also signed with the Knicks. So we have a 2-headed monster at the center position with Mitchell Robinson and Noel. Other than that, some of the other players that we signed, of course, your boy Alfred Payton came back. But
that's it for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel right here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram.com. Feel free to leave a comment below with your suggestions or what you think about the show. Until next time, we out of here. Peace. Holla at me. Drop the beat.
With a big block. How about this?